And of course, this is William Windom, and you remember him from The Farmer's Daughter, but you're going to be remembering him for My World and Welcome to It, a new NBC series. And Bill, it's nice to be talking with you here in Hollywood.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk to people from Fort Worth again, I have to say. And hello. And not only The Farmer's Daughter, but you may not remember, but I was there back in '53 playing for your parents in Bell, Book and Candle.
Yes. Now, was that in Fort Worth or Dallas you played that, or both?
Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, Austin. We did 5 cities in Texas. I've forgotten the other one. But we did 5 cities with Bell, Book and Candle. Zachary Scott, one of your local boys, was playing the lead with Connie Bennett. And I was her brother. Bell, Book and Candle, some time ago. That's even more important than The Farmer's Daughter because it was alive.
And
Farmer's Daughter was
I think
filmed.
this new series sounds very exciting.
It
Bill.
is.
Just for our audience who might not have heard about it, would you tell us a little bit?
I'd be glad to. My World and Welcome to It precedes Laugh-In every Monday night by half an hour, and it has to do with the stories based on the cartoons and short stories of James Thurber, in which I will be depicting the role of a man called John Monroe, with a wife named Ellen and a daughter named Lydia, who works for the Manhattanite magazine in New York. Let's face it, it's James Thurber with his wife and family living in Connecticut working for the New Yorker magazine, but we have to change it for purposes of whatever. There is an editor of the magazine played by Harold Stone. Instead of being called Harold Ross, his name is Hamilton Greeley. We'll have people that are like Dorothy Parker and a local bartender, other regulars of a sort that come in 5 or 6 times a year. But basically, the 3 or 4 of us are the regulars on the show. John Monroe, Ellen Monroe, Lydia Monroe, and Harold Stone. Those are the 4 regulars so far.
I understand from people who have seen clips of it, Bill, I have not, but they tell me that the way the animation is worked in with the live stuff is just really marvelous.
I hope it appeals to everybody. It appeals to me because it allows John Monroe to go off into flights of fancy and imagination, which include not only his cartoons coming to life, but talking back to him or arguing with him or being a crowd going by. In other words, we've taken Thurber and animated him to a certain degree. A big staff of artists are kept busy doing Thurber houses, Thurber buildings, Thurber dogs, Thurber people, walking, talking, moving around. It's almost as if Thurber had gone to work for Disney.
Had you ever met Thurber when he was alive?
I had never met him, no. My father was a big admirer of his, and they were, I would suppose, contemporaries, but I did not meet him.
Are any of the people involved with the show, like the producers, the director, did they know Thurber at all? Do you know?
Let's see. I talked to Henry Morgan, who is playing one of the guys who works at the Manhattanite occasionally, met and knew Thurber, and I think Mel Shavelson knew him, Mel Shavelson being one of our writing executives.
Do you have a favorite Thurber piece yourself, Bill?
No. I have in the sense that I think Thurber's humor is my favorite type of humor. And the one piece of his that sticks to my mind, and probably to most of yours, is, strangely enough, not owned by Sheldon Leonard Productions, which is allowed to put it on. In other words, there was a movie made on one of his short stories that the movie wasn't too hot, but the short story was a classic in its field. And it's the basis of, I think, most of Thurber's thinking. That would be, in effect, my favorite piece, but unfortunately we can't use it. We can use the idea of imagining you're in this, that, or the other situation, but we can't use the name of this particular short story, and we cannot use the characters in it as such. It can't be recognizable as that. But the rest of his material, which is also brilliant, is all part of that same theory of imagining what would happen if I had done this, or if I had not done this, what would have happened. It's what we all do, I think. We all sort of pretend to be, I don't know, ballet dancers when we're on the dance floor, or the Don Cossack choir when we're singing. There's a moment, and when every man is shaving, he's a little bit of James Thurber, is all I can tell you.
Bill, we look forward to seeing this new series, and we wish you the very best of luck in it. William Windom, let's make that, and the new series on NBC and this station, My World and Welcome to It.